Hey guys, we're back with the next episode of our Sryth fantasy text-based RPG. We've been doing the quests or adventures here in Durnsig, and we just had a conversation with the dragon telepathically, where he wants us to go pick something up and deliver it to Telenus. I wrote it down, so I want to just get that over with and done so that we don't have to think about it anymore and we don't have to worry about it. So hey, thanks for hanging out and joining me. Let's go. Let's see here. So it says it's said to go to I don't know. Bitlib Wood, like I remember where that is. I don't. Which is it? That's not what I wanted. Thinking. Alright, travel. I absolutely do not know where Bitlib Wood is. Here it is. Got it. Your murdering has taken you from Durnsig to the hot hills to Bitlib Wood. East of the village of Hakla stands a sprawling forest known as Bitlib Wood. While woodcutters from several nearby villages ply their trade on the outskirts of the wood, there are few who dare to venture very deep into the forest. According to the local legends, a powerful malevolent spirit watches over the wood. Yes, explore, return to previously discovered locations, and hit the ruins of Greenstone. Following the directions given to you by the dragon, you plunge into Bitlib Wood and make your way into the northeast region of the sprawling forest. There, tucked into a small tangled vale, is crumbling remains covered in moss and half buried in the earth, is a skeleton of a once imposing structure. These are the ruins of Greenstone, as the ancient Alvari keep long ago reclaimed by the forest. Somewhere in these ruins lies a stone box you've come here to recover. You're standing amidst the ruins of Greenstone and ancient Alvari keep, deep in the tangled heart of Bitlib Wood. In the center of the ruins, at the bottom of the steep track, is a set of tall iron gates sealing off the wide corridor that leads into the lower level of the once grand fortress. Despite their age, the massive gates bear no sign of corrosion. Examine the gates. As you step up to the gates, a harsh whisper suddenly rushes through your head. You immediately recognize the whisper as identical to the sound you heard while the presence of the giant dragon atop Ogre Head Hill. With a loud groan and a series of shutters, the ornate iron gates swing outward, opening just wide enough to allow you to slip through. Let's go. You step through the open gates and have gone only a dozen yards along the passage beyond when a loud groan rises from behind you. Instinctively you spin around and discover to your dismay the iron gates have closed. Glancing to your left and right, you take note of the large faceless stone figures standing inside tall alcoves on either side of the corridor. The arms of two figures are raised as if they're holding up the ceiling. Suddenly, a deafening shudder, quickly followed by a sharp cracking sound, fills the passage as the two towering figures of stone begin to move. Retreating several yards to the east, hoping it will put you out of harm's way, you watch as a massive statue step out of the alcoves and move to stand in front of the iron gates. You struggle to quell a rising wave of panic when you realize the stone behemoths, their arms crossed and their faceless heads tilted toward the floor, are now blocking your way out. Okay. Close the gates, block my way out. You're at the western end of a long, broad corridor, several yards from the iron gates through which you enter these lowered ruins. Standing before the gates, blocking your way out, these arms folding and the faceless heads tilted toward the floor, the two towering stone. Let's go east. Hey. Elaborate engravings of dragons adorn the damp walls of this wide, dark passages. Now and again you are overcome by an eerie feeling that unseen eyes are upon you. Unseen eyes are upon me. You stand in the small alcove just to the east of a junction of two wide passages. An ornate stone pedestal, its sides adorned with an engraved scene that depicts dragons perched on a snowy mountain peak, stands far against the far wall. Resting atop the pedestal is a small square stone box no bigger than your hand. You so immediately realize that the rather unremarkable container is the very object you come here seeking. As you cautiously approach the pedestal, this fierce blue glow suddenly envelopes it. You quickly discern that the pulsing aura now emitting a faint hum and some sort of magical barrier long ago set in place to protect the stone box. You attempt to reach the stone box, but your hand are forcibly repelled by the pulsing blue light surrounding the pedestal. Okay. Won't just let me take it then. Let's take a look around then. A thin square of iron is attached to the wall here. A narrow vertical slot runs down the center of the dark pitted plate. Alright. Something for a slot. Alright, let's go this way now. A skeleton clad in studded leather armor lies sprawling out against the wall in the section of the passage. You can only surmise these remain of some intrepid men who eventually long ago entered these corridors, never to leave. Well, search them. Well, there's a rod. There are such of the skeleton remains turns up a long green stone rod and a half-rotted pouch filled with gold. Believing the rod may somehow prove to be of use, you promptly take possession of it. Having concluded your search, you take a few moments to adjust your gear before once again setting off along the corridor. Well, let's check to the end of this side. A thick square of iron is attached to the wall here. A narrow vertical slot runs at the center of the dark pitted plate. Protruding from the slot is a long square green stone lever. The lever is pulled all the way down. Okay. Nothing happens when I pull it down. Let's go put the rod over here and see what happens. Clouded blue gemstone is not it. Yep, put the rod. You draw out the greenstone rod and insert it into the slot and set it on the iron plate. After fidgeting with it for nearly a minute, you hear a sharp click as the rod snaps in the firm grip of some unseen fitting. The stone lever is in its rightful place and once again functional. The lever is pulled all the way down. Let's put this one up too. Okay, let's see if 2 ups make a right. And give me the box. Okay. Yes. Let's try the one up north to be down. And then, let's try to get the box again. Okay, still no. Let's go back here and press this one down. Let's see if 2 downs make a right. Yay! Sense of elation washes over you as your hands pass through the glowing barrier and close around the stone box. The cube is contained, despite being only slightly larger than your hand, is remarkably weighty. Turning the box over in your hand, you observe that it bears no distinctive markings. The box's thin hinged stone lid rattles slightly as you make your examination. The object, your mission, is now in your possession. After making certain the box is safely tucked in amongst your belongings, you turn away from the pedestal and head back west along the corridor. Yes, time to leave. As the end of the passage comes to view to the west, a series of loud groans suddenly erupts out of the darkness. A towering statue guarding the iron gate emerges from the gloom and stomps towards you. Your footfalls sending tremors through the floor. In a moment, the massive stone guardians will be upon you. I mean, wow. It's grey? They're trying to kill me. As you step forward to engage the statues, the faceless behemoths move to surround you, and the stone box in your possession begins to tremble. I mean, yay. The 2 heaps of rubble in the center of the corridor are all that remain of the statue guardians. While making a quick search of the debris, you suddenly spot something you haven't before noticed. At the back of the alcove in the north wall, out of which one of the statues has stepped, is a small opening just big enough for you to squeeze through. Using your light to investigate the opening, you discover that it leads into a large circular room. Carefully slip to the opening and soon find yourself standing in a circular room amongst a large cache of items. Is it treasure? No. Oh. Many of the things heaped in piles about this large room have been spoiled by the damp air and the passage of time. A thorough search of what remains turns up the following. Don't take anything common. Don't take anything Alvari. But, I mean, we'll take this because it's superior and well crafted, but keep the common stuff. At the edge of the chamber beneath a pair of crumbling shields, you discover an unlocked chest containing a large quantity of gold. After taking one last look around the room, you slip through after the narrow opening and make your way to the iron gates. You're surprised and relieved to find the gates are no longer locked. A gentle push is all that is necessary to open them. Take a look over your shoulder, allowing your eyes to follow the passages, plunge into the gloom before stepping through the gates and making your way up the steep track and into the ruins. At the top of the path, you pause to make a final check of your equipment, taking care to make certain the sandbox is secured amongst your belongings. As you turn to head out of the ruins, a thin, chilling voice issues from somewhere to your right, sends your pulse racing. Say you've done it. Quite impressive. Before you spun to face the tall figure standing amongst the toppled columns, you recognize the voice as Lopman, the necromancer whom you last encountered atop Ogre had Hill folded his arms and bright eyes meet your startled gaze. The sorcerer, again clad in ragged attire, seemed paler, his features sunken and distorted. He holds up his hand as if to signal lack of hostile intention and shocks you by asking for your forgiveness. I mistake you for an ally of the dragon at our last meeting and never had a chance to make my side of things plain. For that, and for the rest of it, I humbly seek your pardon. The entire situation was most unfortunate. Perhaps you'll be gracious enough to hear what I have to say. I mean, I guess. Lomfman, his thin voice at times, a little more than a harsh whisper, tells you that the dragon he pursued over hill was like most of his kin, a cruel, deceptive, and dangerous creature. I practice a dark art, he says in a tone unapologetic, but I do so without malice. I realize my actions up the hill that day would suggest otherwise, but please know that driven by sorcerer sighs and smiles, though you sense the expression has been forced. The box you've been sent to fetch is something that must not have its care trusted to a living soul, he says. Must be destroyed, though its end cannot be brought about by any conventional means. It is evil, not of this world. To whom have you been told to deliver it? Think again upon the dragon, and recall clearly his words. Surely he did not speak of destroying the box. How could he? He wishes to use his power to cheat death, to unlock secrets that might drag the entire age into ruin. Will you allow it? Give the box to me and I will see it destroyed. Its power to corrupt holds no sway over me. Divination. You insist that while some of what Lamfan has told you is true, he is also being deceitful. It quickly becomes apparent that the mage's formidable will is barring you from discerning more. Nah, I already made my promises. You refuse to listen to a sneer from the mage. You are foolish as that scale beats, he grumbles, clasping his hands together. He said, you wish to protect something you do not comprehend, something you never hoped to comprehend. Take that box and keep it well. I'll not tend you now, but your time will come. The necromancer's eyes suddenly blaze, throw his arms skyward, and before addressing you a final time mutters the strange words, we will meet again. Okay. Lofman makes a hasty retreat, and the patch of ground between you and the departing sorcerer suddenly erupts, and the bonehand draws the claw their way out of the earth. The necromancer, his gaunt face twisted into a hideous smile, stops when he reaches the edge of the trees. 7 skeletons, their bones still bearing the clinging remains of their earthen tombs, climb out of the ground and swiftly draw themselves into a semicircle formation. The undead Lomfon has just summoned the ancient warriors who once guarded Greenstone, his wildly as their fleshless digits tightened around the hilts of their rusted blades. The necromancer lowers his arms and slinks off into the forest, leaving you to face a gruesome legion that answered his call. With unnerving swiftness, the skeletal league closes in around you, and their vile hissing echoing through the ruins. You hurriedly draw yourself into a defensive stance as the first of the undead warriors closes in. And he's scared to face me directly. Hey, that's his business. Say no once, and now you want to end me. Like, wow. Yeah, I know dragons are usually not nice, but he seemed pretty good. The 7 skeletons are now little more than scattered heaps of splintered bone. The ancient guardians of Greenstone, recalled from the rest by Lomfon's dark sorcerer, never again walked among the living. As you expected, this necromancer is nowhere in sight. After sufficiently recovering from battle, you spend a few minutes tending to your gear and gathering your berries before setting off through the forest. When you've gone a considerable distance from the ruins without encountering anything that would suggest any imminent danger, you stop to rest, leaning against a tall, moss-covered boulder. You draw out the stone box and carefully examine it. With the box in your hand, you suddenly find yourself overcome by an urge to open it and reveal its contents. That would be crazy. To open it and see what's in there. Your clear recollection of the dragon's warning is enough to stay your hand, but the strong desire to open the box remains. Not gonna do it. Choosing to keep the box closed risks the growing urge to lift its lids and peer inside you proves to be somewhat more difficult than you expected. For the next several minutes, you find yourself placing the box in the midst of your belongings, only repeatedly draw it out again and face the same dilemma. At last, having found strength to leave the box buried inside amongst your other possessions, you set off through the forest, eager to embark on what will hope be the final part of the task. As you move expeditiously to the wood, the memory of what the dying dragon told you atop over a hill returns. You must retrieve this box and deliver it to Mirror in Telenis. Then there's a voice in your head. You will find the Mirror at the West Garden Library. But heed what it is I'm telling you. You must not allow the box to fall into Longfang's hand, and you must never open it. With the dragon's words echoing in your head, you continue to make your way through the forest, suddenly aware of every shadow, alert to every odd sound, and unable to shake the nagging dread that the unseen eyes of lurking presence are watching your every step. That would be Lumphman. Yes, we gotta go to Telenis. Call off my exploration, travel to we're going southwest. Where's Telenis? I should pay more attention. Northern. Central. We're hitting Telenis. Go to Telenis. We need to go to the library. To the library! Citadel, Sounding Oak, Great Circle Compound, Boulder Harbor area, the User Harbor area, Weapon Market, Armorer. Let's go to Market and sell this stuff. Yeah, I meant to sell it all. So, okay, leave. And when at the weapon market, you're approached by a short, plump, nervous man who introduces you himself as Barnlin and asks if you might have a word with you. I've got a proposition for someone like you if you should be interested in. Alright, what is it, guy? Speaking of Hushtown, Barnlin tells you that he learned of your reputation as a adventure while passing through Hockler several weeks ago. Well, I am well known in Hockler, that's true. He tells you that since he's been attempting to track you down, when you inquire about his reason for seeking you out, he becomes fidgety and glances around nervously as if you wish to make certain his replies are not overheard. I come upon some information that might interest you, a lady such bold character. I know the location of a dragon's lair. Why do we keep coming upon dragons? Balin tells you that his brother, a woodcutter and huntsman from a nearby village, stumbled upon a well-hidden dragon's lair tucked away in an obscure part of the deep woods west of the city. You learn that Balin's brother watched the lair for a safe distance for several days and has seen the fearsome beast entering and leaving its concealed abode. Balin further says his brother discovered a predictable pattern to the dragon's comings and going. In other words, he knows when the lair is going to be empty. Balin tells you that neither he nor his brother brave enough to dare into the lair, but he figures an adventure of your will be interested in obtaining such information. My brother and I are by no means wealthy. We were willing to part with this information for 1,000 gold. Surely an adventurous sort should yourself see the value in what we have to offer. Alright, sure. Well, the takes your gold and parts you the location of Dragon Lair and times that it likely to be unoccupied. You wish she's lucky and quickly departs along the street. Ongoing adventure section of your adventure logs. Okay. With the information, you may investigate the matter at your leisure. Yes, thank you. I don't want to do it now. I'm looking for the library. Here's the library. I need to stop at the armor right quick. If you don't mind. This is worth 49k. Jeez. This is worth 5,000. We'll sell this one. We'll sell this one. I can sell the other two because they're worth too much. And leave the shop. Right, into the library. The Westgard Library, a small stone building on the north edge of the bustling quadrangle in the western section of the city, serves as a repository for historical documents and artifacts. Sanctioned by the Crown, the library is overseen by a small collective of scholars and sages who are always seeking to acquire, study, and archive items of historical significance. Where's Mirrenlaw? Inquire about Mirrenlaw, one of the library scholars, a grey-haired man whose drooping face, bearing an expression that seems to suggest equal parts annoyance and boredom, tells you the way and strolls out of the room. A few minutes later, he returns in the company of a short, heavy-set, white-haired woman. She curtly dismisses the scholar and stares at you thoughtfully. She's only just finished quietly introducing herself as Mirrenlaw and making acquaintance when the trace of a smile suddenly appears on her lips. She nods knowingly. So it's been done, she says in a low voice, taking a candle off the nearby table. Where is it? No, wait, follow me. You follow Mirrenlaw back toward the back of the library, up several flights of steps, and down a lengthy corridor lit only by the feeble glow of her candle and light spilling through the thin single window at its far end. When you reach the end of the passage, Mirrenlaw opens a door and ushers you into a small barren chamber. After using her candle to light 2 lamps and close the door, she asks you to see the same box. When you produce the box and present it to her, she gently cradles it in her hands and begins to carefully inspect it. I know nothing about it, she says, running her fingers across the leather box, but I know how to recognize it. This is it. This means very little to me, but the man who will soon receive it will know what to do. Thank you. I'm waiting for this for quite some time. You asked Mirrenlaw how she was able to so quickly ascertain the purpose of your visit. She smiled as she placed the box into a cloth sack tied to her waist. Using that name, Mirrenlaw, is what gave you away. That's not my name. It's a word that carries a far greater meaning. The woman, whose name you thought was Mirrenlaw, tells you that her true name is unimportant, that she has no desire to reveal it. With regard to this business, names are best left unspoken. You can certainly see the sense in that. Now I'm to pay you something for your help, and whoever you are, thank you. You're pleasantly surprised when a woman hands you a large pouch filled with gold. No need to thank me, she says. When you attempt to politely show gratitude, I owe you a great deal more than that, and I would give it to you if I could. The arrival of these stone blocks means that my partners is soon to be over, and I want nothing more than that. A long uphill climb to this point, but I'm now very close to the top of the hill, almost there. Okay. The woman leads you back out to the main room of the library and sees you out of the small stone building. Standing outside the library on the edge of the bustling quadrangle next to which the repository is situated, you bid her farewell and set off on your way. You strike out across the square, you look back and find that she's already gone back inside. You reach the southern edge of the quadrangle, you turn into a narrow lane that winds its way east and south toward the broad thoroughfare that runs to the gates of the capital. At every step, your mind churns as you pore over all that transpired since the fateful afternoon in the weary bard when your keen ears up at the top of a dragon sighting in the skies above Durnsig. Well, we finished it. So it says to go to my ongoing adventure section. Like I know how to get there. Yep, 2 more inches. And dancing. Nothing in the Hockler anymore. This is not where I want to be. This is options, display settings, news, reports, adventure shop, stats. I might as well save. Let's go to my castle. Right, quick. It's been a little while since I've seen candles. That's right. Hi, candles. I mean, why not have a gun stare? Turn. Okay. Fireplace. I want to upgrade some of the things I have already. The servants. Living tapestry. Living statues. Oh, moonlight. Oh, moonlight sounds good. But master bed chamber is. Alright, let's leave. Adventures here? Oh, we're not doing that right now. Leave. Let's travel back to Durnsig. Durnsig. Anyway, it says something about going on my adventures. I never know where I'm going. Journal. Okay, that's it. Well, I'm not saying it. I'm going to end the episode a little bit early. We'll be back in Durnsig to do more of the quests there. So thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Until next time, peace.